Welcome, everyone. So today I have with me here is Sabine Christelli. Sabine will educate us all about sleep and how to remove blocks in our lives with her coaching programs. But before we get started, Sabine, I was listening to your sleep hacks, and I must say I found it really useful. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, please, for our community, and just tell us what you do, why you do it, and and all the services and programs you offer.
Okay, well, thank you for having me, Cheryl. This is exciting. So, I'm going to be talking about my passion, so I have to try and contain
Yes.
myself a bit. But one of my passions is sleep. It is linked with my other passion, which is breathing. And that's how I started to develop a PhD program where I realized that instead of taking pills and all sorts of having all sorts of frustrating encounters with lack of sleep, why don't we study how our breath can actually navigate our nervous system and then help us to sleep? Because those things are free and they're available to everyone, and they help us in everyday life to reduce stress. So once we reduce the stress through the breathing and we measure how our sleep improves, that's the whole theory and the whole idea. We can be independent. It's not something that is going to be sold at a pharmaceutical company. It's something where people are empowered, which then translates into having certain hacks, certain sleep hygiene tips, which you were just sharing.
Yes, that was really useful. So, go ahead and give us
Yeah.
some gems.
Yes, well, there are many. There are just too many. I would literally be able to talk for hours. But things like starting to realize that sleep is actually a process. You can't generally, unless you have worked all day and you're absolutely ready to collapse, generally takes 2 hours for the body to create the chemical environment for a deep sleep. So that means if we eat before, not just straight before sleep, but 2 hours or three before, if we don't do anything too exciting 2 hours beforehand, and we actually enjoy that self-care time of winding down, that we navigate the light exposure, because the light is obviously a trigger to waking up versus falling asleep. And there are some really easy things to do. It doesn't mean you suddenly are, living in a cave sort of thing, but you just reduce
Yeah.
certain electronic influences. You perhaps have some salt lamps. There's lots of really easy tips that make a huge difference to our nervous system, which then means you sleep better, which then means, by the way, you have more energy to exercise in the morning, you have more clarity to make really good, healthy decisions. Your relationships are benefiting because you're not erratic and cranky. Your hormones are balanced. There is just so much that goes with sleep, which is linked to being educated around it in a good way. And so
Yeah.
that is one of my things, and that's why my podcast is out there as well. Yes.
Yeah. So for everyone's benefit, Sabine has a Sleep Easy podcast, and we'll give the links in the video later on, and you can check it out. And I honestly believe that sleep is really important. I even read somewhere that it helps you with regulating, like you said, your hormones, your mood, and really energizes you up for the next day. So that's awesome. So what else do you do, Sabine?
Well, I
Your
have always,
coaching?
yes, I've been, look, but my most greatest passion, if I go to the bottom of it, because we've got layers, right? My most deepest passion is human potential and that humans thrive. And I've wondered since I was a child, why do people sabotage so much? Why do people say, I'm gonna do this and I want to do this, but they don't do it? And why do people know that healthy food is good for them, but then we eat the other food? And I basically know the answer to that. It's programming, it's childhood, it's how we self-soothe, it's upbringing, it's society that we're not blaming, but that is interwoven into so much of our psychology that it's really an interesting field to study. And when I looked at human potential, I looked at all the reasons why some people get cancer and really get over it well. And other people, there are people that have written books on that it was the best gift they ever had because it made them think and rethink everything in their lives, their relationships, their nutrition, what they actually focus on. So some people will look at cancer as a scary thing and other people will look at it as the greatest gift. That has always fascinated me. So what is the difference between humans that will go, I need to do this and I'm doing it, and then people who don't? And what I've come to realize is that besides the fact that we're all perfectly programmed and amazing and always doing our best to our
Yeah.
capacity is that it is a program in the unconscious. And if we're not conscious of that, this can go all the way through our generation. So if our generation has experienced war, there can be a tendency of hoarding, a tendency of fear, a tendency to overeat because we used to starve. That is a program in the unconscious. And so when we are not conscious of it and we are perhaps stressed or we're not meditating, this can run our entire life.
So
And
you're helping people become self-aware and
yes,
just understand the programming, or I mean, I'd say that in the current environment where everything's modern and digital and things are really making it, some say super easy. I think it's probably adding another layer of complications with beings and things and making our lives really busy. So would you say you help people out, like narrow down what's really important for
exactly.
them?
Exactly, you got it. And I think exactly what you just said matches with that, because the digital age has made it more overwhelming to
Yeah,
know, who do I trust? What am I watching? There's constant information being bombarded your way. And so I think every single one of us needs a profound life skill to be able to navigate. I'm only going to spend so much time, and I know exactly what I'm searching for, and having the boundary to not get too carried away. Otherwise, we all know it. We've been online for way too long, and we could have been
yeah,
sitting under a tree meditating and feeling really connected with what we actually want in life versus what everyone is out there doing and saying. And then
yeah,
the comparison comes in, and that's super unhealthy. So yes, I definitely help people with this. And I think teenagers, young adults, and even the elderly, we all need those skills. It's incredible how
yeah. Thank you,
powerful.
Sabine. That's awesome. That's fantastic. So what's next for you in this coming new year for you? What's your next projects?
Well, my it's always about New Year's resolutions for people staying calm during Christmas or the festive season, whatever it means, whatever religious belief there is, connecting with family or spending it by themselves. Some people really struggle with that. So my project is always noticing that I can support people through that season. So now it's that season of family time and all these pressures that come with this and joys of it, navigating being there, offering classes and one-on-one coaching. But also my next year project, Cheryl, is actually how to get energy back. That's my project. I'm creating a course and workshop and probably even a retreat around it. I'm noticing a lot of people feel they just don't have energy to go and exercise, to create change, to, I don't know, declutter their house. So often it's people wanting, but they say, I don't have energy to start. I'm too tired. So I've created a course already where
Yeah,
there are a few pillars, that is, I said it in a funny way, where we
yeah,
can look at where are we actually leaking energy that is imbalanced and where can we get back energy. So it's not all about turning our life around, becoming a superhero. It's like you have a bathtub and you want to have a bath, but it's got
yeah.
a few little holes and you're going, oh, Sabine has helped me notice there's a hole I didn't even know existed, or the car and it has an engine leak, right? And I'm noticing that we block
Yes.
that engine leak of the oil, and now the car's running smoothly and more economically. And so it's looking at where the leaks are and then looking at how do we actually fill our own cup. It can be very simple things. Because people get busy and overwhelmed, they forget, I do feel good when I sit under the tree or when I meditate at the beach or when I have a longer shower or when I get that sleep, or with what you're offering, when I join the community and when I actually go with a friend and go to the gym. Because, and people forget this, when we exercise, we actually get more energy back and
Yeah.
clarity. And so
Mhm.
putting out that time to meditate or go and get an exercise thing going is actually like putting an investment in, putting in $10 and getting $20 back, but
I like that
energetically.
word, investment. And I think that's the thing, that sometimes it's just life, right? It's just so overwhelming. You've got kids, family,
Mhm.
whatever it is you're trying to manage, and just finding that time for yourself. I love what you do, Sabine. I think it's really awesome. And just helping people navigate through what it is they want that's important to them, right? Just
Exactly.
block out the noise. What's important to you? Like you said, fill your cup and invest in yourself. I think that's awesome. So one of the things I found is like the time distractors you talked about, right? At nighttime, I'll go and search something, and then on my Instagram, I love cute animal photos. I get bombarded.
Oh
And
my
before
God.
you know it, I've spent half an hour. I'm like, oh my God, that's half an hour gone when I should be. So it's just putting in boundaries, right? Where you know you're going to like do something and that's it. But you
Yes.
still create time for something else. So that's really awesome.
It's like, I like I have another analogy and we navigate this one so we can use that one. And I love how you talked about blocking things out that are not working. It's almost like we need that these days, or it is that we need that. It's when you go to a smorgasbord, right? Or to a big
Yeah.
wedding or big Greek wedding or Indian wedding or all this, right? You
Yeah.
know, you can't eat all of it. You know, you have to choose things. You know, there's a chance you might eat a bit too much, but it's the same concept of, okay, thinking about beforehand, what am I going to do so I don't regret it afterwards? And so I enjoy my night. Some kids, they go out and party and they drink too much, or some people will eat too much and then totally regret it. So but we can navigate. We can take bite-sized things and we can decide, oh, I'm going to save
Mm.
some space because I really want a dessert instead of, so it's actually like we navigate food. And of course, food is another thing where we need to have boundaries and where we have to make choices. So it's a very big topic. But even there, I always say, have a glass of water first, have the good stuff first, and then don't deprive yourself of the things you want to have if that's chocolate
Yeah.
cake. But afterwards you have it, and that means you don't have as much space to have it. You've already filled your cup with the good bits, and so it's the same
Yeah.
principle. And it really does work because we know how to do it. Sometimes we just need someone to help us, remind us that it is easy. It can be easy when you have that bit of guidance and reminders, and we thrive on reminders, don't we? Even as girlfriends, or when we go to the gym together with someone, we
Yeah.
remind ourselves, hey, wasn't that good? Let's do it again. Let's not just go once a week. Let's go 3 times a week.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're right. It's that you're keeping yourself on track, being accountable to yourself. And I think the key word for me is the investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a cost. It's you investing in yourself, your health, your well-being, your journey, and that's really important. So that's
Very
awesome.
true.
So I just wanted to know more about for our community here who, we love to exercise, but I know things go haywire at times. So would you describe your program, your coaching, like I know some people feel like, oh my God, I'm going to feel the pressure to be super good all the time. And it's just going to be intense. I don't think if I can do this. What do you say to that? Like, how do you help people feeling like that? The
Yeah,
pressure to be too good.
oh, goodness me. Perfectionism is just such a problem because there's no such thing. So I basically remind people, as once they've shared with me what they're feeling, how we have all these expectations, usually from our childhood, by the way, of having to be a certain way and feeling that pressure. And it really doesn't help any entrepreneur that's successful. Anyone that's ever gone to the tops of their field has had many rejections, has fallen down, and has always gone, I am who I am, and I'm just gonna keep going, doing it my own way. And we are all
I
unique. We
love
all have
that.
we all have different childhoods and different biology and different psychology. I would always say, be where you are now and find what gives you joy. You got to enjoy the ride. There's no such thing as perfect.
Yes.
And then one step at a time, those micro steps, they sound
Yeah.
to the intellect, oh, it's only small. But to the whole being, you're creating neurological change. And with that
Yeah.
neurological change, it's easier to take the next step. And when I explain the science behind it and how our minds actually work, people usually go, wow, thanks for the reminder. Now I'm going to do that, because it can be very, very smooth and enjoyable. I hope
I
that
love that. How you said just embrace, enjoy where you are and small steps. And
Mhm.
you're basically saying don't be too hard on yourself, right? If you've had a
Never.
setback, just get back to it, slow and steady, and then you'll get there. That's awesome. Thank you, Sabine. So,
Welcome.
anything else you want to share with the community, like how we can help you or how they can reach you?
Well, yeah, I will. What I'd like to say is if you are part of Cheryl's amazing community, I would say if you ever feel like you're hesitating around exercise, really notice that and then decide, I'm going to choose to enjoy exercise. I'm going to choose to try something new and have an adventure because the rewards will be amazing. To go out and have social contact, to explore different ways of exercising. Honestly, when you research health, like even nutrition and all of that stuff, which I research all the time, they now say, besides sleep, that exercise is the most important thing for the body to be optimal, for your mind, for your longevity. So I would be here to say, I cheer you on. Try going and exploring that group. And yes, if you need, further support, I'm absolutely here to break through unconscious patterns of I've joined the gym 10 times and I never end up going. I've joined the club 5 times and I never end up going. What's going on? That is some unconscious belief where your unconscious has told you it's safer not to go. And there's a reason for that. This is not illogical, but you are not tapping into that. And so I can definitely help with that. But I would say have fun and find that playfulness inside you that you used to have when you were younger, and just go in there and make a commitment to yourself saying, I choose to explore this now. I choose to give this a go, and reach out to Cheryl or myself or anyone else in that group that can uplift you, because we do better when we are connected with others. It makes
I
such
love
a
that. You said I choose to do it for myself. That's awesome, Sabine. So for your coaching services, we'll put Sabine's links below. And if anyone in the community feels like they're stuck and they need to talk to someone else and just work through whatever it is that's affecting you or hindering you, you're welcome to do that. And if anyone's listening, I listened to Sabine's Sleep Easy podcast, and some of the talk she's given around sleep. It is awesome. They're awesome tips. I've taken some for myself personally. So, and it's great to be energized the next day. That's the one tip I took out of there because, when you're working, you're running a business, you have a family, there's a lot that goes on. And for anyone, have a listen to it. It's really good.
Oh,
So thank
thank
you,
you.
Sabine.
Thank
Thanks so much for
you.
taking your time today. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, Cheryl. See you next time.
See you.
Ciao.
Bye.
See you.